Hello, this is the TradeSite U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Wednesday, the 30th of October, 2019. We had a good trading day. It was not very exciting. Not much happened here. Let's take a look at this is the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market and futures form. Dead sideways day. S&P closed down 2 points. We were higher earlier. A lot of things to discuss about this. Not that it was an exciting day, and we'll look at all the factors here and go from there. So let's look at crude oil down 24 cents to 55.30. Gold down up 60 cents. That's a blip. Still trying to get that 13 seeker sell signal on gold. S&P cash index down $2.53. Now I do want to point out again, we switched to the monthly chart here, and if the month ended, which is 2 more days right now, and I put the projection mode, you would see there'd be a 13 seeker sell signal. So unless we drop sharply Wednesday or Thursday, you're going to get that seeker sell signal on the monthly chart. And there's a couple things to say about that. I've said it repeatedly. Here's how it works. First of all, if you look back from 2003 to 2015, we never even got one. And then 2016, we got one. We shook it off immediately and ran higher. Whenever you get 2 of them in a row in a fairly short window, the second one is like a 92% chance of working. So that's a very high percentage chance. So if we get this closeout here at the end of the month, and if we don't get it now, then we're nowhere near a recycle. So next month you could get it. Anytime you make a new closing high at the end of the month, you're going to get that signal. It says a lot about where the market's stuck. So that doesn't help us from a day-to-day perspective unless we get the signal soon and roll over. Sometimes you don't even get to the signal because it's already there and you roll over and that's fine. But I don't see the upside in the market right now. NASDAQ down 63.16. This is only 10 candles up. It would be 11 at the end of the month. So you could make the argument that NASDAQ needs 2 more positive months to get to an exhaustion signal. But it's just amazing how rare these things are. SOX down 15.11. Biotech's up 16.34. And this thing's been flat for, literally, if you look at the biotech index, it's right where it was 5 years ago on the monthly chart. Let me go back to the dailies while we're looking at these things. So here's the daily chart. Again, this year, totally flat on the biotechs. The SOX, almost to a daily chart sell signal on top of it, and the NASDAQ 100, not much. New highs. But new highs are great when you get a nice base breakout and you don't have a seeker sell signal. This time we do. Up 5 on the Russell 2000. This thing's been flat since February. Really uneventful. The VIX up 9 cents to 1320. Nothing great here. If you look at now remember, we had 213 buy signals on the daily chart here this year, and they both worked out. If you look at the weekly chart, none at all. And if you look at the monthly chart, none at all. It's pretty hard to get them on the VIX the way the VIX trades. The trend, 0.94, that puts the 10-day moving average at 0.96, basically. NASDAQ volume was 1.8 billion shares, a little bit later, under the 10-day moving average. Advanced decline ratio on the NASDAQ, plus 15. So essentially, as many stocks up as down by the end of the day. On the New York, plus 154. That's pretty flat, too. Google loses $28.32 after being strong and gapping out the day before. Apple down 576. So if I put this into projection mode here, we're not quite there, but we're close. But we're about to start a downward price flip on Apple. Netflix down 65 cents. Amazon down 14.37. It's a blip. The whole thing has been sitting here for months. Tesla lost $11.49. Keep in mind, though, obviously it was up on the gap up on earnings, and the short squeeze that occurred after that, that might be settling down. Finally, Facebook down 9 cents. Goldman Sachs down 11 cents, but that doesn't matter. It's near the highs of the year. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, up 9 cents. And that's it. That's what we have. All right, let's take a look at the intraday action. Let's look at the front month futures contract on the ES. So Monday we gapped up big, 2 candles up. It's pretty much the entire range for the day. It was so flat after that, untradeable. Tuesday, a small gap down, filled the gap, tried to go higher and break out. That failed, came back, ended up back in the middle of the range, and we spent the rest of the day basically in the middle of the range from the prior session. So if you look at these 2 days, it's horrible. And keep in mind, we've started a 2-day Fed meeting, so we're going to get a Fed announcement on Wednesday. The NASDAQ side much more negative. So it was gap up and drift higher, no real movement on Monday. Now it's been more of a downward move. We still have gaps below, though, on both of them, so be aware of that. But yeah, there's nothing here that's super exciting. from a charting perspective, and the action has been really bad in terms of economic data. On Wednesday, we've got a couple things. We've got the ADP non-farm employment change at 8:15 a.m. Eastern time. We've got the advanced look, the first look at GDP for the third quarter. I'm expecting a 1.6% number, nowhere near the big the perfect numbers that you're supposed to get under a Trump administration of 4% or whatever. That's at 8:30. But if we don't get the 1.6, that's bad. Crude oil inventories. And the other thing is we're still got a 2-day Fed meeting. And that's another key point. So what's the Fed going to do? And what's their comments about where the economy's at? And then we have the press conference after that. So we'll have one more market preview this week for the Thursday and Friday session. But, in terms of Wednesday, I think it's going to be kind of a sit. We might get a gap if the GDP number's off badly in the morning. And there's a lot of earnings. And then Apple's earnings are after the bell tomorrow. But you've got the Fed announcement somewhere in there. I think most people would think the Fed does nothing tomorrow. But what are their comments? So it's going to be a news-driven, maybe not do much unless that GDP number really misses by a lot or beats by a lot in the morning. Then we can see what happens. Charts as usual. Brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading Wednesday.